posted a what are we working on in regards to Path of Exile 2, and I'll be honest with you, it kind of just tells most players to eat a dick, and it's not really particularly great. So the biggest issues that people are facing at the moment is that Huntress kind of feels like garbage, and the entire game feels exceptionally overscaled. In my opinion, I think they've turned the boss HP up about threefold to where it should be just to make sure that you're forced to finish bosses, which is kind of annoying, but other people are dying to white mobs pretty much, and some of that should be adjusted in here, but it's not great. I've had a quick read through, but let's go through it together and I'll kind of explain some thoughts along the way. Many people are reporting the gameplay is feeling too slow. Yeah, well, water is in fact wet, unfortunately. Sometimes this comes in the form of people saying that monster life is too high, or player damage is too low, or areas are taking too long. I love that they address all of the factors and then go on to gaslight why it's not the case in the rest of the little thing here. So, in this post, we'll talk about some of the things we've already done and more of the changes we're planning on making. So, Huntress, basically, what they decided to do was say that some people don't want to parry, but Frenzy Charges is so integral to the class, you're kind of stuck without them. So, they want to give early players an option to get Frenzy Charges without parrying, which the option for that is to use like freeze or pin, and the one, what is it, the sustained gem, I forget what it's called. That one's pretty decent for getting frenzy charges, but that was really the only other option. So they want to make a different option where you can still do the parry combos. So they're going to get a skill called Cull the Weak, which is basically the same as killing Palm on the monk, but for frenzy charges. If a monster's in culling range, using Cull the Weak will charge towards it and kill it instantly, and give you a frenzy charge. This will be patched in over the next few days. I mean, that'll be useful across the board on a lot of classes, not gonna lie. That could actually be pretty good on Ranger as well, because you'll get an instant frenzy charge, and then you can use that to use your barrage and all that sort of fancy stuff. But we'll have to see how that plays out. And they want to improve the feeling of parry more, which, yeah, I don't know how they're gonna particularly do that. They're investigating improvements to that because the issues are you should parry but don't, and in other cases you just get heavy stunned and die. Yeah, that's about right. The other feedback is that some people don't want to enter melee range at all, while the primary role of the class is incentivizing a ranged/hybrid playstyle. I hate this statement. I really do, because it just goes to show that they really don't want to make Path of Exile in Path of Exile, it feels like. Because this is the thing, you have a ranged melee hybrid character. There's a difference, right? Playstyle and character, two vastly different things when it comes to Path of Exile. Because a ranged Amazon and a melee Amazon are two very distinct and very enjoyable, well, no, I'm not gonna say enjoyable, two distinct playstyles that a lot of people will enjoy playing. That's a better word to use. Well, once it gets tuned up anyways. People should enjoy playing. And to do that, you're going to generally be focusing on one or the other. This little ranged melee hybrid style doesn't particularly work when you don't have enough skill gems or support gems in the campaign to encourage experimentation. Because if you brick the wrong build, you have to trade for more support gems. You have to go and farm for more support gems, or literally make another character. So messing around with the whole back and forth thing isn't really great. So even when I was playing it, most people are sticking to either ranged or melee because you're forced to singular in. And I focused on the ranged aspect personally. A lot of people focused on the melee aspect, and they both lost. They're both pretty bad, not gonna lie. But yeah. To make this type of gameplay feel better, we're going to be buffing the speed of spear throws generally, but especially a lightning spear. I will say that this wasn't the problem in my experience. The issue with the spear throw is that it has this little like wind up, and then it throws the spear. Whereas with a bow, it'll automatically fire the spear. So the problem is like you click where the enemy is, and then you throw the spear where they were. And that's the issue, especially with the mob movement speed. Like that little half second where you're doing that wind up, it just feels so bad, and then the spears miss. And it's not great. Like even with Scattershot, it's a little underwhelming. But yeah, they're buffing the Lightning Spear Javazon, which is pretty nice. That build's going to get even better, and then you're going to have Frenzy Charges to trigger your Lightning Spears a little more often. And then some of the spear throws will receive Attack speed increases too, but they have other mechanics. That means attack speed on them is less relevant. And then minion damage and minion life, because it's been really unfortunate watching some of the best minion players in the game literally die and be unable to make builds, which is kind of crazy. They basically said that they overtuned stuff and they planned to nuke it in late game. They were getting very out of control values due to being able to significantly increase gem level on these gems. So using 2 wands for plus to minion gems, I'm assuming. And so they reduced the growth of minion life and damage, which was intended to hit the top of endgame, but made it so you can't even make it to endgame instead. Oh well. And they said they're making a change to increase the damage and the life that minions get during the campaign to be more similar to before, while still keeping the scaling nerfs that were introduced to higher minion gem levels for endgame. They really don't want people to like be powerful. Like it's crazy. Like rather than just going, oh yeah, we're just gonna flat buff it again or fix it, we're gonna literally make it so that it's fun during the campaign and kind of dog at endgame. This I'm glad I started playing Last Epoch 5 hours ago. I'm not gonna lie, I really am. One of the first things we looked at when considering clear speed concerns was the monster life curve. Some people are saying, of course, monster life is too high. We found that monster life throughout the campaign after Act 1 was probably too high. We've made an adjustment to lower monster life by 25%, which of course we saw how well that went, and this has been deployed already. Second issue we found was that the life bonus on rare minions was incredibly high, which is why most of the white mobs felt fucking unkillable. One of the reasons why this feels particularly bad is because these monsters are still white but had more life than blue monsters. So, that's a beautiful line. This calibrates the expectations incorrectly and makes rare fights harder than they should be. Yeah, because the rares die easily and then the minions will kick your ass afterwards. This number has been set back to where it was in 1.0, which lowers the life by about 60%, and this change has also been deployed. Although I didn't really notice this one, I'm not gonna lie. And then large area sizes. Here's where they kind of stuff it right down your throat. And yeah, this is pretty underwhelming. So they've removed a lot of movement speed investment outside of like 10% movement speed, 15% movement speed, and a couple of movement skills. You have shield charge, you have leap slam, and then like I don't know, prayer at this point maybe. And it's not particularly great. And I'll be honest with you, I think the reason why they did that is if you get 10% movement speed boots early in the act, you can literally A key like half the bosses in the first act. It's kind of impressive. If you get any added movement speed, you can just literally run a circle around them and they can't hit you. I mean, you're not gonna be able to kill them all that fast because they have threefold inflated health pools. The Act 2 boss has 600,000 health. That's not a joke. I have no idea why. Like, the bosses are just inflated to make you forcibly have to fight them. And I don't like bossing in action RPGs. I don't play it for that personally. I play it for AoE clear. But yeah, that's just me. So, many players are reporting that areas feel like they're too large. Normally when this is the case, the main reason is due to other concerns such as monster life or player damage being incorrect, or just a lack of entertaining content in the area. However, we're checking to see if there are any outliers the players are spending too long in, to see if any changes to area size needs to happen. In the meantime, we did notice that there are some areas that don't have sufficient checkpoints, so we're doing a pass of adding some more of these. Brother. Like, it's just gaslighting, no? Like, the areas are too large. Do you not have phones? The areas are too large. No, the mobs have too much health and your build is bad. Brother, oh my god, they're actually doubling down on we enjoy the slog. It's literally just saying that it's meant to be a slog. Like, and then the fact that the one Huntress Twister build that was actually effective got immediately nerfed because apparently it was a bug. The only way they found to make Huntress not suck, and it got nerfed out, aside from like Rake Stomping Grounds, which I covered in one of the other videos, but crashes and disconnects. They talk about the common client crash in town. You definitely had that one a couple of times, which they said they fixed it on the first day, but there's other stuff. and then they'll keep working on it, and most of the crashes are fixed. And then we're adding quality of life features like a bookmarking system on the Atlas, stash tab affinities. I love how the game is on fire. Like the game's too, like literally, minions are useless, monster life is too high, areas are too large, and we heal people. But we're working on stash tab affinity. Brother. Like, I you can't make this shit up. Can't make this shit up. But hey, you can rebind specters and tame beasts because, having to get a new gem every single time is apparently not fun. Who would have guessed? I wanted to come into this league and like genuinely be positive. Like I didn't want to hate on GGG, but my god, it's not looking good, guys. It's really not. I'm really thinking that I'm going to be playing a lot more Last Epoch and Diablo 4, and then maybe seasonally play Path of Exile 2 for the fans. And, yeah. I like faster action RPGs. Playing Path of Exile 2 and then playing Last Epoch really made me realize I don't like slow action RPGs. And PoE 2 is just, it's slow for slow sake. It feels like everything in PoE 2 was made to consume as much of your time as humanly possible. The map layouts are too big, everything takes too long to die, none of the skills particularly work all that well, the boss fights have overinflated health pools just to make you sit there and fight them and retry and retry and retry. Like, there's a difference between fun hard, entertaining hard, and piss you off hard. Path of Exile is none of the three. Path of Exile is annoyingly waste your time hard. And it's the sort of hard that like you feel every second of it. Like killing a boss and dying to it on like 20% health, knowing that literally you would have killed this, but just because they overinflated the health pools, you don't kill it this time. Like it's just so absurd. And they're kind of doubling down on it. Like that's what the game is supposed to be, it seems like. And yeah, I don't think that's gonna be a game for many people. I'm not gonna lie. Path of Exile 1 was already niche and kind of like difficult to get into, but like you already had to sit in Path of Building in that game, and people do not like doing that. Like they released a new PoB fork, and even I didn't feel like downloading it. I'm at the age now where it's like I don't want to sit here and PoB builds over and over and over and over again. Not even to make a cool concept, but PoBing builds to make it past like Act 2, Act 3, just because these bosses are so fucking absurd. It's nuts. But I don't know, man. I'm just not into the grind anymore. Grinding gear games, they took that name to heart with this season.